Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jason from Passive Profit Planning, and today's video is about goal setting. Now, if you've been reading the blog, you know I talk an awful lot about goal setting, the importance of goals, how you have to write these goals down, how you have to focus on them every single day. Goals are just a huge part of anything you do or anything you want to accomplish. So, I wanted to make today's video on a couple things that I do to really implement some sort of structure around the goals that I want to accomplish. And it made me think a lot about a talk about 3 years ago I heard. And sometimes you can hear these videos or you can listen to these CDs, go to these lectures in person, and they give you so much information. I mean, it's an hour and a half, 2-hour talk, and I mean, you leave and your head's spinning. But something about this particular talk that I listened to really stood out at me. And actually it was 2 points. One was a quote that Ziegler said. And he referenced a guy named J.C. Penney who has had some success in his day. His quote was, "Give me a stock clerk with a goal, and I can give you somebody that can change the world. But if you give me a person without a goal, all I can give you is a stock clerk." For some reason, that stuck with me. I mean, it always makes me think that, if I can have big enough goals and I keep moving forward towards them, I determine where I go in life. Another thing that Ziegler referenced was the country Japan, and how over the years they've set goals for themselves as a country, and even with some of these goals that are extremely big, they were able to accomplish them. And he talked a lot about how they were coming out of some really tough times in the 50s, and they started to set some goals. One of them, in the 50s, they wanted to become the world's leader in the textile business. They accomplished that. In 1959, they were the largest in the world. In the 60s, they had a similar goal, except it was now in the steel industry. And this was, a ridiculous goal to have, because it was well known that they didn't even have the resources to be one of the leaders, yet they wanted to be the top. And they accomplished that. Before the 1960s were up, Japan was the leader in the steel industry. Did it again in the 70s, had another goal. They wanted to become the world's leader in the automobile industry. They accomplished it. It didn't happen in the 70s, they missed it by a year. It happened in 1980. But they became the largest provider in automobiles for the world. And then in the 80s, they did the same thing. Again, you're starting to see a pattern here. They wanted to become the world's leader in the computer and electronics industry. And to this day, Japan is still the leader in that industry. So you can see, it really stuck with me that, even if these goals are big, and I'm not saying that we're going to be setting goals as big as Japan did, but it goes to show that if you can set these goals, it gives you a way better chance of accomplishing them. Now, when I started to think about my own goals, we probably have all heard a lot of the same information, the SMART goals. There's an acronym that I hear all the time, and it works, it's good, so I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but when it comes to deciding what your goal is, you got to be smart about it. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. All areas of focus that you need to consider when you're creating your goals. You should also create them short-term, long-term. I found that short-term goals give you a sense of urgency. It keeps you productive. It keeps you moving ahead. Where the long-term goal is the big picture. It's something that keeps you moving, but it gives you direction. Along the way, you're going to want to really track your progress, measure where you're at, and then get back on course if changes need to be made. And mostly, you got to think big. When you're setting your goals, don't be afraid to think big. They can be long-term goals, and then we'll break them down, steps along the way that can help you accomplish very big goals. So don't fall victim of limiting beliefs. When it came to creating a formula or setting some deadlines or some structure around my own goals, I wanted to take kind of the same philosophy that Japan took. It worked for them. I'm going to try it for myself. And I started to make my long-term goals 10 years. Now, I know people that look even farther down the road, and that's great. I do have some big plans overall in the span of my entire lifetime. But to really start to write down, I wanted to focus on the next 10 years. And that's my long-term goal. And then I started to break it down backwards, because I want to also have short-term goals to give me some tasks to do, to be able to implement a plan of action. So I went 10 months. And I get asked all the time when I share this with people, why don't you just go a year? It's 12 months. I'll tell you, my answer to that is, if everybody else is creating one-year plans, I want to be ahead of the pack. I might not beat everybody on luck. I might not beat everybody on education. I might not beat everybody on talent. but I can definitely do my part to beat everybody on work ethic. So while everybody's setting 12-month plans, I'm going to set 10-month plans. Give myself a little bit of cushion and try to stay ahead of the pack. I break that down a little bit even more and then go 10-week goals. This is where I do most of my adjustments with my goals, because it's a long enough period of time where I can see some results on what I'm doing, but it's a relatively short enough time that I didn't waste a lot of time if I need to get back on the course. So it just gives me a good opportunity to check where I'm at and make sure that I'm moving towards my big goal. And then I break it down. I'm a very task-oriented person, so I need day-to-day goals. So I even broke it down to 10-day goals. And it really works. So my next 10-day goals are just going to be a portion of the step towards my 10-week goals. My 10-week goals are a portion of the step towards my 10-month goals, and so on. But it all starts with the long-term goal. So you got to be smart. You got to think long-term. You got to think big and set these long-term goals. I'll share with you some of mine for the Passive Profit Planning website. I wanted to create $100,000 a month passively. It's a big number, I understand. I also want to create 1,000 contributors on the site, people that the information on our website have helped increase their income by $10,000 or more in a month's time. I'd like those people to also contribute to the website and share from their perspective and hopefully help even more people. And then I also want to get 1 million newsletter subscribers to the website. I feel that there's a lot of value in the information that we share, and if I can help 1 million people by getting them to subscribe to a newsletter, even better. So we'll start with one goal. Let's break these down, and I'll show you how I break it down into the Quad10 formula. We'll start with the $100,000 per month goal. And what I would do is I'd probably look at that as a really big number, so I'd want to break that down. I'm a big fan of a bunch of small different things that all feed off of each other and open other opportunities. So I would look at $100,000 per month as 10 different streams that create $10,000. And then I'll break it down backwards from that. What it means is that every year those 10 streams need to gain $1,000 per month to hit my 10-year goal. So if I keep that in mind, at the end of each year, everything should increase $1,000. I can start to go backwards. Now I'm going to focus on the 10-month goal. So my 10-month goal, I'm going to focus on one stream earning that $1,000 per month. Just one stream. Now as you get that stream built and then you start working on your second, you're going to see that working on a couple at a time becomes a little bit easier, because you have some things already built that are going to help that effort. But in the first 10 months, I'm just going to focus on one stream earning $1,000 per month. I know that it needs to increase every 10-week period. I know it needs to increase $62.50 per week, the earnings. And then 10-day goals, it gives me some direction that every 10-day period I want to increase the income $15.75 every 10 days, and it'll keep me in line. So I can focus on 10-day goal, creating $15.75 in passive income, and start to put towards a plan of action. Now it doesn't have to be just money. We can focus on another goal, say the 1 million subscriber goal. That's a big number. It's a huge number. I think in 10 years' time it's realistic to achieve. But I'm going to focus on every year doubling those numbers. So if the overall goal was 1 million by year 10, dividing it by 2 the whole way. And I can even get to the point where in year 1 I know to start that cycle I need to get 1,953 subscribers to the website. 1,953 subscribers in a 10-month period. So there's my goal for my 10-month period. My 10-week goal would be 489 subscribers every 10-week period. My 10-day goal would be 123 subscribers. And then I'm a fan of numbers. I like to break everything down. I know that even with every 10-day period is 123 subscribers needed, I can say 13 subscribers per day. And if you know anything else about the blog, I talk a lot about keeping score, knowing your numbers, tracking your numbers. If you do that effectively and know even your conversion rate on your website, say, that if you needed to get 13 subscribers per day and your conversion rate was 30% of your visitors were subscribing for the newsletter, you'd even know how many visitors per day you need to get to your website. Math doesn't lie. So with a conversion rate of 30%, I know that I need to get 45 visitors to the site every single day to achieve my goal. So now I know the goal. I know it down to the day. what I need. It allows me to begin to create a plan and start that productive loop that we've talked about. Plan, do, check, and adjust. So to close out here, that's how I do it. I break it down, everything's in tens, and you can do it however you want, but it doesn't take away from the importance that you need to have them. However you go about setting some structure for your personal goals, you got to make sure that you have the goals. That's important. And when you do, there's a couple things that you should really focus on, no matter how you do it. One, you always got to keep score. If you know what your goal is, you got to know how much closer you're getting to it every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. Keep score of your numbers, know where you're at, and what you need to do to improve. When you do achieve these goals, reward your victories. A lot of people fail to reward themselves when they do accomplish something, and subconsciously it takes away that urgency to accomplish the next goal, because you don't even know what the reward was for accomplishing the first one. So make sure that you reward your victories and use those future rewards as motivation. The power of a dream is huge. Take advantage of it. I know people that were accustomed to drinking coffee every single day, and now they use it as a motivator, where they make sure that they do something in a day first before they reward themselves with that cup of coffee. I mean, when you can put those types of goals and discipline into your business, or into your personal life for that matter, you're going to see a lot better rewards. Education. Important in achieving any type of goal, because there's other people out there that have achieved the same goal that you're setting for yourself right now. If I wanted to get 13 subscribers to a newsletter, I'd be in really good shape if I could get around other people that get 13 subscribers to their newsletters. I mean, anything that you want to accomplish, somebody else has probably already done that, and you can learn from them. So make sure you get around them. I mean, that's just the importance of association. You're getting around other people that can help you achieve your goal. And if you surround yourself with people that have goals, put yourself around the pack of people that are hungry, that are trying to do more, chances are you're going to have the opportunity to help them. And then what are they going to do in return? They're going to help you. So it's a win-win situation. But just keep at it. Persistence is a huge part of goals. Just stay at it. One of my favorite quotes of all time: winners fail more than losers do, because losers give up after they fail. Winners get back up, dust themselves off, and get back at the plate and take another swing. So you got to stay at it. If your goal is aligned with what you really want to accomplish in your lifetime, don't give up on that. Stay at it, keep persistent. Be prepared to fail, but be committed to win. And commitment, that's all about it, because nothing happens until you decide it does for you. The world's going to continue to go on. Everybody else is going to continue to do what they want to do. What you do is up to you, and none of this matters. Any of the good information that we can share with you does not matter until you put your foot down and say, this is something that I'm going to do. Until the next video or next blog post or next podcast, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the information, and I look forward to talking to you soon.